Okay, you guys, I am really, really excited. Thank you so much to Kerry for sitting down with us this morning. And I'm very excited for you to get to see why she is somebody I wanted to sit down with. And to know Kerry is to love Kerry. And actually, before I even ask you to tell us who you are, I want to start with telling you that I said your name to some people prior to this interview. And I said, I'm going to say a name and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And so the things that came to mind are Kerry has a vibe. Kerry is a vibe, a smile. She's contagious. To know her is to love her. And I, before even asking anybody that, when I think Kerry's not just a person, Kerry's a feeling. You are a feeling. And I think that is the best way to describe you, and the best way to introduce you to people is that not only is to know you, to love you, but that you bring with you a feeling and you make people feel better after being in your presence. And so I want you to know how much I appreciate you sitting down with me and how much you leave such a lasting impression and a lasting feeling on people just by being with us. So with that being said, tell us who is Kerry Bowens? Why should we care who Kerry is? Tell us.
I am Kerry B, and what do you say after all of that? A vibe, the smile, and a feeling. I think that's it. And that's my march in life, is to help everyone feel loved, to feel noticed, and to know that they're supported, and to meet people right where they're at and let them know in all their mess, they still matter, and that's my jam. And it took me a while to own up to that. When I first met Melissa, we were at I think I met her in Hawaii first, but I didn't really meet her then. But I met her in Vegas at a retreat that one of our good friends put on. And I was one of the speakers, and I remember her just grabbing my arm and saying, I love you. I knew from the moment I met you, I loved you. And it was in those moments and many times after that, I had to grow into the impact that I have on others, because sometimes when you're put in a box or told you're not worthy, you start believing it. And I work really hard to break away from that and believe that my impact is real, and the people that respond to it are really genuinely feeling what they're feeling. So I am a business owner. I am a businesswoman. I am married, and I have two amazing, amazing sons. And I love to travel the world. Anywhere I can go and meet up with my friends, or just go, as long as I can get on a kayak and get in some water, I'm jamming. That's my vibe. I'm a fish. I love to be in the water, and I truly enjoy pouring into others. So my door is always open, my phone is always available, and my husband, he doesn't even fight it anymore. He just says, somebody at the door. Like, people just stop by, and you know what? You're welcome. That's all I can say is that you're welcome.
You have reason to be proud of your sons.
Yes.
They make you and your husband very proud. What both of them are successful, great careers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to brag on them for a second?
My oldest son is a computer-aided drafter, and he hasn't finished his college yet, but he's been able to get enough training to be successful. I always tell people he's the Puff Daddy on a budget. He just thinks he's the entertainer. He's definitely got his mom in him. And my baby boy graduated from law school, and he's successfully working for the Chicago government in the bankruptcy era. And we'll be breaking into a law firm real soon, but he got his, what they call the grunt work done. And he's He's doing the Chicago thing right now. But he truly isn't in Chicago because he's coming home because it's about to get cold. So he's gonna work from here since they're virtual right now. So, and I'm in Texas. So we're kind of in the mid, we don't get as cold as you do, and we don't stay as warm as the West Coast, but we're kind of in the middle during the winter. So it's a good place to be.
So I know, because I know you, I know your history, I know where you come from. I'm not going to ask you to share anything about anything you're not comfortable sharing or that you wouldn't share. I'm not going to do that, but I will open the door that you can be as open as you want to. But circling back to you saying, not feeling worthy, you grew up
challenged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you had to break that mold.
Yeah. And even in today's times, it's even harder to find your identity, right? Because, I was just sharing with Melissa before we started this, that feeling of accepting people who love you and not thinking it comes with conditions is a huge accomplishment, to know that people genuinely love you regardless of anything. You can insert whatever word you want. They genuinely love about you. They genuinely love to be around you, or can call on you or count on you, and there's no condition to it. That is something that I worked all my life to get to, and not wonder do they really, really want me there, And to know that when I'm not in a circle or with someone, it's not for anything other than the fact that that's just not my season right now. I grew up in the Midwest, and I grew up with a very highly educated mother, a single mother, but she unfortunately made some very bad choices, resulting in a lot of unfortunate things happening to my sisters and my brothers and I, but mainly myself. And but along the way, the angels that were put in my path that I didn't even know were angels for many years helped me eventually get to where I am today. And that is turning around and pouring back into others and reminding them that you're not what you've been through. And I know that sounds cliche-ish. This world is cruel. This world likes to remind you when you fall short, and no one really wants to grab you and say, great job. So we got to learn to be our own champions. We got to learn to shout ourselves out and not feel guilty about it. Know what's in your heart, and know that if you went to do something and it didn't work out, but you knew where you were coming in your heart, and being okay with that, because a lot, guilt in the world will weigh you down. You shouldn't have done it anyway, or, it was because of what you wore, or things like that. And that's not the case. So knowing your heart and what's in your heart, it makes a difference. It makes you be able to stand a little taller and know, well, you know what, that happened, but it ain't because of the way I was thinking or where I was coming from. So I don't know.
Yeah, you have choices, right? You have choices to let your past define you.
Yes.
Or you have a choice to go into life and redefine your past.
Man. Yes. And
I
that's
think go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's it right there. You have a choice. That's it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, allowing our past to define us, it's difficult to overcome that. It's a lot of people sit in places of pity and sit in places of fault, sit in places of lack of worthiness. And I think you truly are someone who has risen out of that to say, Amen. No, I'm a powerful woman, damn it.
Yep.
And I can do great things. And along the way, that isn't to say that there haven't been times where you haven't believed in yourself, believed that you are as worthy as you have strived to be. But I think that's one of the reasons why I love you so much, is because you have redefined the road that maybe was laid before you.
Yep.
And
from that, not to cut you off, but from that is when you say the road, that's a lot of things. Is that I meet so many people who have already hung their hat on, well, these are the cards I was dealt. And what people don't know, Melissa, and if you really get down to it, they look at the outer self. So they look at people's success. They look at what people have achieved, but they don't look at people's journey. They don't look at the journey. So they think that they can't do it because they're looking at the end result. Get to know people and ask them about their journey. Ask them, you know, how did they stand tall when the rocks were coming from every direction? How did they push through when everyone told them that they weren't worthy or that they couldn't do it? Just in life in general, we look at people and we look at the shoes they wear, the purses they carry, or the bags they carry, the clothes they wear, and we make a you know, we make
Assumption.
assumption. That's the word. We make an assumption about them, and then we compare ourselves, right? And then we say, oh, well, I can never do that. But you don't know that I've got the jacket safety pin, or there's a hole in my pocket, or I've only got $2 in the bank. You don't know those things because you never asked. Stop assuming that it's not for you. Stop assuming that you don't deserve that big, whatever your big American dream is, the big office in the corner, or wherever you live, you know, the big office in the corner, or to drive the car you want. When you start first believing that it's possible for you, then everything that happened to you, you can then start using it as a tool. Because now you can say, if I survive that, this is nothing. Look out hill, look out mountain, here I come, you know? And we've got to learn to empower ourselves and fuel ourselves by our past instead of allowing it to disable us. And that's what so many of us do. We, you know, and for me, I suffered abuse for 10 straight years, you guys were, and I was, let's just talk the age, 5 years old to 15, 5 years old. And even then I sang songs, I prayed prayers. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I can never remember just thinking of giving up. Now, when the teenagers kicked in, of course, you get the hormones and stuff, and you start thinking crazy stuff, right? You're thinking, you know, it would be easier to be dead or whatever than it is to go through this. But every time there was somebody or something that showed me differently. There would be someone. So, you know, there's power in compliments. There's power in checking in on people. You know, a lot of times, and I have thoughtful Thursdays. I always tell people on Thursdays, if you think about somebody, that means you need to reach out to them in some way, an email, a text, a picture, a song, a video, something to let them know they're thought of, because you never know, that one thing may be the thing that gives them the hope they need just to keep going another day. You know, we got to take this day by day, right? We got to take this day by day. And people are quick to judge and slow to understand. We'll assume in a minute. Look at her. She's standing in the welfare line. They don't know your story. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Keep pushing forward. If you got to if you're at the stage right now where you're using a food stamp card, or you can barely pay your bills, own where you're at, but just know where you're at. And then have goals to where you're trying to get to. Because that's the other thing we don't do, is we have no goals. We just wake up every day and we just let life, you know, throw us a plan or whatever, havoc. But if you know where you're going, when the challenges come, that gives you the strength to keep saying, nope, I'm going to keep fighting because my day is coming. You know, today it may be, you know, having to pay for it, get help and assistance, but tomorrow I may be the one giving someone assistance. But you got to believe that. And you got to connect with people that will pour into you. So you learn how to overcome those obstacles, right? Because obstacles are going to come our way. Even when you have money in the bank, you know, people think money is the answer to everything, right? And we both know it just brings more headaches, right? So you got to know that it's not the money, it's how you manage through the challenges, right? It's okay, so I can afford this, and that, but I'm still having these challenges. You got to learn how to manage the challenges. You know, do you just crumble when life throws you a curveball? Or do you just say, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me try something else. You know, let me keep pushing forward. Let me check in with my tribe or something. But giving up shouldn't even be in your realm of thought, your vocabulary. You've got to keep pushing forward. And I'm definitely one. I didn't get my college degrees. I didn't even start pursuing college again until I was in my 40s. That was all I ever wanted to do, is go to college. And my husband knows that. And and then one time he told me, well, you can't go to college. And I thought, what? I can't go to college. Like, what are you talking about? And then one day we just got to the point where the kids were the right age, the money was right, and I was able to go. 40 years old, in my 40s, guys. And I have my master's degree, and no, I don't plan on ever going back to school again, but that was a challenge. But it's never too late. That's all I'm here to tell you is it's never too late. They say if you want to be a leader, then act like a leader. If you want to be a business owner, then act like a business owner, dress like a business owner. And what does that mean for you? I don't know. Research the field you're in, because everybody don't wear suit jackets and earrings. Some people go to work in jeans and a t-shirt every day, but own what it is you're trying to pursue. You know the story about Robin, not Rock Your Network Marketing, Robin, right? And she shares that she was a broke kindergarten teacher with like 18 cents or something in the bank, like hardly any money. But the one thing that I hang on to what she says is that she had a dream of being owning orphanages and building orphanages. I'm gonna not take your call, but she said, what can I do now towards my dream? What can I do where I'm at right now in this broke kindergarten teacher state that's gonna move me closer to my dream? Ask yourself that every day. What can you do today that's gonna help you reach your goals of tomorrow? There's two things you gotta do. There's really three things you gotta do first. You gotta believe, you gotta have goals, and then you gotta fight for them every day. That's the key right there. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? My goodness. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that you've given me so many things. I have to decide which path I want to go down next. First, I'll speak to assumptions going backwards. I think we as women, we fall victim to assumptions so easily. The moment something doesn't turn out the way that it does, somebody doesn't respond fast enough, somebody doesn't respond the way you expected, somebody doesn't do something the way we anticipated them to, we assume ourselves into a crazy tailspin.
Yep.
And we make assumptions about others. We make assumptions about how people are going to react to us. And I think it's ingrained in us a little bit, and it's hard to overcome not doing that. And I think that's just one of the many things that we as women battle, especially being business owners. We have responsibilities as a woman to our family. We have responsibilities as a woman to society. We have, society likes to tell us where our place is a lot of times. And, we try to break that mold. You broke a mold. You've broken many molds. But, we're still continuing to try to break those molds. And I think that part of that, and in conjunction with that, is being intentional with what we do to overcome those women demons.
Yes.
Those women demons, because we're fighting an uphill battle in a lot of things we set out to do. And a lot of times the biggest critic is ourselves. Because our self-talk can talk us in or out of anything.
Right.
We can talk ourselves in, or we can talk ourselves out, and we will let ourselves down before we will let somebody else down.
Amen. Amen.
And so somebody watching this might say, I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know how. I don't know how. I hear the word goal and I know what it means. And I kind of slough it off because it's kind of cliche, but I've never actually really sat down and put them to paper and assess them.
And if I could speak to that a little bit, I think the reason why is because we hear goal and it's one thing, right? So our goal is to lose weight. Usually that's the thing, right? I want to lose weight in a certain amount of time. And it's usually a ridiculously short amount of time, right? Like the wedding's next month and I need to lose 50 pounds. That's usually how it goes, right? So I would say the first thing is, remember what Robin said, and I'm probably saying her name wrong, but
Sarah Robbins.
Sarah Robbins, that's it. Thank you.
But she goes by Rockin' Robin. Rockin' Robin.
Yeah. The first thing is, and I share this with everywhere I go, is break it down. What's the goal? So the goal is, let's just say, to go to school. And you want to just start. But like you said, how do I do that? Well, write down, go to college or get my GED or get my diploma, whatever it is, and then start breaking it down. And I tell people almost daily, if you say it's too hard, it's simply because you haven't broken it down small enough. It needs to be so granular that you are celebrating almost every moment. I made the phone call. I filled out the application. I paid the fee. I mean, it has to be broken down like that, because otherwise your vision is so broad, you never, ever see success. But when you keep breaking it down and breaking it down and breaking it down and breaking it down to where you can celebrate, you can say, check, I applied, check, I paid the fee. That means you're celebrating along the way. And so speaking to someone who just says that, you know, it's the same thing with saving money. People always say, people tell me to save, but no one ever told me how to do it. It's one penny at a time. It's one step at a time. It's one goal that you check off. But remember, that goal is the ultimate dream, is to walk across the stage and say, look, mom, look, dad, look, family, look, friends, I did it. But how do I get there? So you have to get it so granular, like those bricks on your wall. You got to break those. Each of those are steps. Your big goal is up there, but you got to break it down so small that you're celebrating damn near daily. That's it. I mean, you fail before you get started, right? If you say you're going to lose 50 pounds in 30 days, you've already failed.
And I love this so much. I love your use of the word granular. I need to incorporate that somehow. I'm always looking for new vocabulary, so I need to incorporate granular, and I love it in relation to goals. But also I love this, because one of these bricks can't build the wall alone.
Hey, come on now. Come on now.
Do you see how Kerry is a feeling? Do you see how she's a feeling? She says, come on now. I mean, that's silly. Yeah, but together, all these granular bricks,
that's right,
can build that wall.
That's right.
So I'm going to talk to you about something, I don't know, hard, maybe not hard. We're going to go back to, I mean, obviously yours and my common denominator is our Scentsy business. Mm-hmm. That's what brings us, that's what's brought us together. But I think there's a message that you hold that could be powerful for somebody else. You joined Scentsy when?
2009, June of 2009.
2009.
Almost 12 years.
Are you at the top of Scentsy's plan? Scentsy's title? No.
Not. I'm one step. I'm a starter.
Mm-hmm. Star director. The highest is superstar director. That only means things in the Scentsy world.
Yes.
It doesn't mean anything outside of the Scentsy world. But for those of you that are in Scentsy and you know this lingo, then this will mean something to you. So started in 2009. You're one step away from the top. When did you promote to star director?
So I think she asked me this before, and I still don't know.
That's okay, but it wasn't.
It was in 2021. It was earlier this year. Yes.
So what keeps you here?
So you know what? Let's start with the gap. Well, maybe we'll end with the gap, but the gap, right? Because to somebody, hopefully you caught where Melissa's going. It's 2009. It's 2021. And I'm at the second level recently promoting to star director. And what keeps me here is my desire to help change people's lives. You see, I have a corporate job. So I work 9 to 5-ish, you know, for a major airline. Thoroughly in love my job, right? Not ready to give it up in any way. But I've always prayed for an avenue that would allow me to be an impact to other women, not just women that have gone through the challenges like I have gone through, because see, so many of us are hurting and we don't want to speak about it. We think we don't even know what success looks like because we're wallowing in our hurt, right? So if I can inspire someone to let you know that you can look like me or not, right? You could have a challenge like I did or not, but you can be successful. And Scentsy feeds my soul. I get invited to speak on calls, to do amazing chats like this, because I also love to do inspiring chats with other people or talks with groups. So it feeds more than just getting to the top of the food chain. And I understand timing. You know, one of my amazing friends, I'm going to say her name, okay? Yeah. Is Becca Levi. And she the journey that I went through, the challenges that I went through as a young person, she said that that was your story. And no one could live out that story but me. And, my first thought was, are you freaking kidding me? You mean I had to get abused just for a story to prevail? We couldn't win another route? Like, what's up with that, right? But when you think about that, you were put on this earth for a purpose. Everyone tells us that, right? And my purpose and my journey included that, so that I could have the tools, the firsthand experience on how to help someone deal with that, to see someone who's rose above. And I mean, I'm not saying I've made it. Obviously, I haven't made it in the top of the rim, but I'm still here. I'm still a version of successful. You see, what's your version of success? You see, I stopped measuring my success up against the superstar directors, the top, because I learned that they could still be my friends. They could still pour into me, and I don't have to be exactly where they are, and they still love me because I'm still moving forward. You see, that's the other thing. The way you overcome challenges is you got to keep moving forward. Too many of us waddle. We waddle. My husband told me once, he said, have I ever told you that? And let me put context behind that. A lot of times we'll say, oh, my spouse, my husband, he doesn't want me to do that. He wouldn't like that. And one day my husband told me, he said, did I ever say that to you? That's in your head. Get out your own head, people. Have an honest conversation with your significant people in your life and really ask them, do they really hate what you're doing? Are they really willing not to support you? Or is that what you've already built up in your head and that's your belief? No one's told you that. You just built that up. I had to peel all that away. See, that's a real thing that happens to us as women. We build up all this negative self-talk and we start believing it. Ooh, that's dangerous, man. We start believing it. So then the flip side of that is that when you have confidence and you can show up, I can talk about a whole lot of things. Don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm confident. I can be dead wrong, but I'm confident. But you got to be willing to do that, even when you're wrong. Even if you're telling people that you can bake biscuits without putting them in the oven. If you believe that that's possible and you come with the best attitude, guess what? People are going to go home and try it because they buy into your BS, right? Because you're that confident. But if you're sitting back going, yeah, I don't know, and you're just doubting everything you do, then you're waddling, man. You're waddling. Be brave. Be brave. Like she said, people don't know how to start. You start believe what you say to yourself. Like if you believe that you need to, like I said, lose weight, save money, get a job, whatever it is, why? What's going to change? Write these things down. That's why journaling is so important. That's why connecting and pouring into yourself and hearing other people, the word is called testimony. When someone shares, they're sharing their testimony. If you know what testimony means, it means that you're giving someone else hope. When I share my story, there's somebody that's going to hear it, that's going to say, wow, if she can make it, then maybe there's hope for me. But when we hold it in and we think they're going to judge me. Ooh, I wasn't a virgin. I wasn't this. Then we're just slowly dying inside of ourselves. But when you start to bloom and you start to share and you start realizing the impact you have on other people's lives, guess what? That gives you energy. That gives you cause to say, wow, no, I need to show up. And I'm not showing up to please any one person. I'm showing up to give somebody hope, even if it's just one person. So I stay because I get to do that every single day. I can walk into an event that's being held by our company, Scentsy, and literally people say, I know that voice. I need to talk to her. I know that voice. Are you Kerry B? And you guys, I have people knock on my door. Can you pray with me? Can I just talk to you? When you have that kind of impact on people, you stay. You stay because you know that you're being used in a mighty way. And like I told you, my husband now, he don't even go to the door. He just like, hey, Siri, who's at the door? Or show the front door. I think that's what you say. And he'll like, it ain't for me. It ain't for me. Go to the door. And you know what? It's from the UPS person to the person at my church to my neighbor. And as long as I can be used like that, and as long as I can meet amazing people like Melissa and the Beccas and the Callies and the Jodies and all them, y'all know who y'all are. Love all of y'all. I'm gonna stay. Now, some people come and they leave, right? They don't stay because as soon as they hit a roadblock, as soon as, like you said, it doesn't work out the way they thought it was, they run the other way because it's hard. It's hard to be wrong. It's hard to hear no, right? It's hard to not earn a trip because you didn't recruit enough people. Me. And you did everything, right? It's hard to miss a promotion by $35. All those things happen, but you could easily quit. But when you start finding the joy in what did happen, I had more income. There's some new amazing people on my team. I learned a new skill. I learned a new way to work my business. When you start looking at the nuggets that you learned along the way, then you can stay. But if you only look at the negative, if you only look at the woe is me, then you leave. But I got too many, yeah, man. Yeah, like, ooh, thank you. Thank you, God, for putting that person in my life. Thank you, God, for that opportunity. I have too many of those. I can't leave. There's too much work to be done.
I, oh,
You're red.
no, hmm.
Mm,
I think that our business has such a stigma.
mm,
I mean, for those of you that are tuning in, if you're not a part of Scentsy, you don't know what Scentsy is. You don't know that Scentsy is direct selling. It's in the direct selling, industry. There's a stigma that comes with it. And most of the time that stigma is built up because of wrong doing by companies in the industry.
correct.
Or there's a stigma because it's frowned upon, it's less than, but what I love is that we're showing that it isn't just about starting something like this for a big paycheck and to move a bunch of product. For a lot of us, that might have been the initial thought. The initial thought might have been, it was for me, I'm going to get in for 6 months, I'm going to sell, I'm going to make some money, and I'm going to quit, because that's what you do in direct sales. You quit. A lot of people that do direct sales have done 10, 15 different businesses. It is a constant kit on the doorstep. But we are different here. And I don't just say that because I'm a part of it. I say that because I've stayed, and I wouldn't have stayed if it wasn't different. So those starting a business like Scentsy, when you get in and you start at point A and your only goal is to get to point B, and if you don't get there, then it didn't work, you have lost sight of the opportunity that is in front of you.
Right.
And I absolutely love what you said, and that is why I called attention to your journey, because to you, you've realized along the way, heading toward the top level in a company, you realize that isn't actually, that's a byproduct of what's
Right.
filling you.
Amen. Yep.
It's not an end. It's the byproduct of doing your work that keeps you where you are. And I think that is so absolutely powerful that we measure success so much by getting to the top, when really the success is finding what it is in us that gets us to continue to do what we do. And you could be a consultant sitting at Star Consultant, you're a Star Director, but a Star Consultant, and sit there for years, but love what you do.
Right.
And there is not a damn thing wrong with that.
Yes.
And I love that you completely demonstrated that through your story. And it answers the question, then why are you still here? Because you found something on this road that fills you. So that stigma that comes along with direct selling and with this industry and with a business like Scentsy, is ignorant.
Yes.
Because it could be a direct selling business that fills you up. It could be an organization. You could be the leader of a Girl Scout troop. You could be head of a church group. You could be the head of a women's organization where there's no income tied to it. It doesn't matter what it is, but if you find your path and you find that it fills you, there isn't anything wrong with that. We're not committing any crimes.
Amen. There's nothing wrong with it. And it also helps you to start looking at people as people. Because the thing of it is that we need the janitor, we need the nail tech, we need the trash man, we need the doctor, the nurse, but we as society put people on pedestals. And then when they fall, we want to judge them. If we start realizing that we're all on a journey, just at different levels, you know, it's like you might have $100 problems and the next person might have $100,000 problems, but guess what? They're the same problem, just different magnitudes, right? We all need to work. We all need to provide for our families. And when you take all that stigma away, and then you start saying, where's the real person? How can I be an impact to the individual? And giving people hope on a daily basis, like, and this is one thing we are very about is being genuine, right? By being authentic. We want to make sure that you see the real us. So we show us using our products genuinely, right? And I want people who come in my life or on my path, join my team, however we meet, to see the authentic me, you know, to see the struggles, to see that, you know, that life happens. But when life happens, you don't just have to stop dreaming. You don't have to stop your journey. And that's where people do. As soon as it doesn't happen the way they planned it, they quit. But to me, look back and say, but what did I learn along the way? And then if you can find that, what I call joy, you can take those joy nuggets and it'll propel you to continue on. But when you're only looking at a dollar sign or to beat someone or what all the crazy things that people do, you'll quit. And you know, here's the thing, if you look back on your life, you've been quitting all your life. You've been quitting all your life. And it's no matter where you land, whether it's direct sales or, I don't know, opening a brick and mortar store, whatever you do, you've got to learn to push, not quit, but push. Just dig deep down in yourself and say, how do I get over this hump? How do I get through this challenge? What did I learn? What could I have done differently? You know, this is a good time to say I. You know, a lot of times they say you shouldn't say I. That means you're doing it by yourself. But look inside yourself and see what you can do differently. How can I, you know, what was the question? What more can I do? What more can I do to get through this challenge? But don't quit. Because seriously, if you've never seen the 3 feet from goal, the demonstration, the guy's digging, he's got his little pick and he's digging, and he quits. And he's literally 3 feet from the goal, all the gold he was digging for. And that's what most of us do. We get so close, and because it got so hard, because guess what? It's supposed to get harder the closer you get to your goal, right? Those last 10 pounds are hard to lose. That last $10,000 to save is the hardest to save. The final stretch to purchasing the home is the hardest part, because they're asking for docs and they're asking you to, verify everything. Think about it. The hard part is right when you're at the goal. So why would you quit now? Instead, step back, scream, call on a friend, do something, but don't quit. Do not quit. You're too close to success. And if you ask Melissa or myself, we could tell you there's plenty of times where it just got so hard, but we have enough resources. We have good spouses. We have friends that we can ask. They'll be honest with us. And that's another thing. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with a bunch of quitters? Are you surrounding yourself with people who just say, girl, it ain't worth it. Just get a paycheck. Just go 9 to 5. You know, if I may, one of the questions I get asked all the time is, why do you still work? If you're so successful at Scentsy, why do you still have your job? You know, there's a thing that I said in the beginning is that I love what I do. And sometimes when you're so bought in, I'm less than 2 years from being to where I could just walk away with everything. It's a little hard to walk away then, right? But here recently, I've been asking myself, am I putting my eggs in that basket and letting that hold me, limit me? No, But I want you to know that you can build I mean, yes, it is limiting me by thinking that way, but you can build a successful direct sell business or whatever business, a hair business, a brick and mortar, because we're talking to women no matter what walk of life you're in, right? We're talking to women. We're trying to reach out to women and let them know that whatever you dream is possible. You know, the way my good friend shared with me is that sometimes you got to keep working and let your side hustle, whatever it is, direct sales, whatever you're doing, fund your ultimate dream, right? So for me, I love what I do, and I couldn't see myself doing Scentsy full time. I just couldn't see myself doing that. But things change after 12 years. You start seeing yourself, you start realizing that you can do it. But there's nothing wrong with having a job. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do both. But what you shouldn't do is do them independently. You should incorporate them into where it is your life. It's what you do. It's what you breathe. It's what you drink. Because if you put it up on a shelf, every time you pick it up, you're starting over again. And you don't want to do that. I have a bag and I keep it inside of my bag. It's my little bag office. I can pull it out at any time and we can have a full conversation. You can smell, you can do whatever. You learn to incorporate it. So, you know, don't let what the world tells you. I was looking at my note, the stigma, what you're saying, the stigma, but don't let what the world tells you be it.
In anything.
Yeah.
In anything.
Amen.
We're very easy because we're easily persuaded by other people's opinions when we don't confidently believe in ourselves. When we don't confidently have an opinion of our own, it's very easy to just fall in line and go with the crowd.
Yep. Go with the flow. Oh, go to school, get a good education, get a job, and then that company decides they don't want you anymore, or they close up, or they merge, or things like that. And you have nothing to fall back on. What's wrong with investing in you? And let's speak to the fact that you may say you don't have a supportive family, whatever that family dynamic. The first question you got to ask yourself, is that in your head? Did they literally, you know, come out and say, I don't support you. This is dumb. You can't do this. If they didn't say that, then keep rocking, keep sharing, keep, you know, pushing forward in whatever line you're doing. If you're selling clothes out your trunk, you know, go study a movie star or an artist, like a songwriter or a singer. Go really study their story. Most of them were singing in little clubs. They were selling CDs out their car. They were strategically showing up at places to get their music and let somebody listen to their dub tape and those types of things. But society wants to only show you the glam and how they're living in this big 90-foot man or whatever, big old mansion now, you know, and we don't know the journey. I go back to that. If you really want to know about success and how to really change your life, go study someone's journey. Look at the sacrifices that they took. Look at the doors they slammed in. Ask your friend. My friend is a caterer. How many times did she have to go get a job at AT&T or painting houses or doing whatever? But she never gave up on her catering. She had to do something to pay the bills, but she never gave up. And we didn't let her give up. Goes back to who you surround yourself with, right? If you're with the naysayers, you done tried 90 direct sales companies because that don't work. How many times you see I don't know what you have up there, but we have Walgreens and CVS. If you see Walgreens, just go 2 blocks, there's a CVS, or look across the street and there's a CVS. You see Walmart, you see Target. They don't quit, guys, you know? I mean, the thing of it, I tell people on my team all the time, Target can't just open up the door and be like, hope they come in, you know, hope we get some business. They got, you know, they gotta do something. They gotta highlight products. They gotta maybe run a commercial. Well, you know what you gotta do? You gotta open your mouth up and tell people what your goal is for the day. You don't have to tell everybody everything because there's gonna be naysayers. So you want to protect your heart and stuff. But you gotta at least let people know, hey, guess what? I'm open for business. I'm going down this path. Can I count on you for support? How many times have you heard this? Girl, I didn't know you sold Scentsy. If you're hearing that, then you're not talking enough. You're not living your brand. You're not living your product. And that's all we're saying today is that stop letting others dictate how you live. You know what I mean? If you want to wear purple hair and big green earrings, then do you. but do it wholeheartedly. Do it with the belief and the confidence. It's like, I wish they would say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out there and be you. Like, I can't be put in a box. I'm not going to show up to a meeting. I walk into the meeting. I'll be like, what's up, everybody? You know, I've been told, you know, Kerry, yeah, what's up? That's not really, well, that's not your thing, but that's my thing. And I bring life to the room. I'm not today we're going to go. No, I want to know how you doing. How was the trip? How's the kids doing? And guess what? When you keep showing up how you are, not how somebody told you should be, but true to yourself, people start changing. You didn't have to change. And they'll start saying, well, let's go around the room and ask people how they doing. See, stop being scared. Ooh, that's tough, right? You know, I remember the first time I went and asked for a raise. Most people just wait for it, not me. Excuse me. 40 billion we made. I'm sorry. Can sister get a raise? You know, like what's going on here? Start having conversation. If you're in a place where you just don't know how to get out, Melissa, I might be going off track here, but if you're in a place
you are good.
where you just are just like, you feel stuck. You feel stuck. And when you look left, Sally's over here just rocking. Susie just got married. Bob bought a house. And you just feel like, why not me? I'm going to tell you the truth, because you're scared. And you've got to stop being scared. You are worth fighting for. I mean, the worst thing they can say to you is the 2-letter word, no, not right now. But the one thing you've done is you've planted the seed. That goes for anything. If you're telling them about your business, if you're asking for a raise, if you're going for a job, if you're trying to buy a house, the worst thing they can tell you is no. They may even give you some advice how to turn that no into a yes. You have more knowledge. You're empowered a little more. You can go out and get some more information, and you can come back again with a new package and ask again. But if you just sit back and keep, ooh, I dodged that. Ooh, I dodged that one. Ooh, and you never, ever step out on your own, on your comfort zone, out of that comfort zone and try it, you'll never know if you can do it. You'll never know if you can do it. You guys, you don't have to have name brand anything. You don't have to, y'all, the hair is, woo. Sometimes you just got to show up the best you can show up and trust that it doesn't, nobody can see. Nobody can see all the little things that aren't perfect in everything. Even though you know, don't let it stop you. Because guess what? We all come from different walks of life. We all have different challenges. But if you are where you're at and you take care of where you're at, if you drive a 20-year-old car, but you wash it like it's brand new, you keep it clean, you maintenance, you know what I mean? Then you're moving towards better things. But if you just sit back and life sucks and I'll never get a new car and things like, you couldn't be my friend. I'm just telling you, because you would get sick of me.
Yeah.
You would get sick of me because I would be like, okay, but what can we do? What can we do? You keep telling me what you can't do. What can we do? Can you stop buying them Diet Cokes and put that money in a jar and start saving? Because see, that's the other thing is that we need $150,000, well, probably $200,000 now to buy a house. But all we look at is our little bitty paycheck. And so we see no possibilities. But I'm telling you that if you save $1 a day and you do that every day, watch how your attitude changes. You know, there's some of you out there that don't even have enough money to if your tire went out, that you could replace your tire. And you know what? But your nails are done. Your hair is done. You got the latest bag. You sporting the latest clothes, but you don't have enough money in the bank to change your tire if it blows. Think about that and start there. You don't have to have the latest and greatest. Nobody knows how old your jacket is unless you tell them, right? Or your bag or whatever. This is, to me, this is even more important. This is the biggest assumption, is that people were just like handed a bucket of money, handed a bucket of success. Women genuinely don't believe that the other woman worked for it. You guys, start somewhere. Start somewhere. See, we want to hit the home run every time. 2009 to 2021, I'm rounding third base. So I was rounding second for a long time, but I never felt less than. I always knew it was possible. I just had to focus in and really start believing that it was possible for me. Okay. And I started doing that just like you. It's possible for you to save $100 this month with 15 days left. It's possible for you to save $1,000 this year, but you got to start somewhere. Where do you start? Have $5 taken out your check. You know what I mean? Don't buy new shoes this month. Just start thinking of the ways that you can start cutting back, and you can start changing your thinking process in little ways. Because remember, the big goal is whatever, the house, the business, going back to school, whatever, losing weight. But remember, you're breaking it down. Don't forget about our bricks, all the little granular steps that we're going to take to get there. But you got to bring it down to where you're at. And then you can start building, because one brick at a time, right? Because that's how they built that wall. Even if they brought it in made, how you like they say prefab, somebody still had to put a brick, put some stuff, put a brick, put some stuff. And that's what you got to do. What's your brick? What's your one step at a time? Write it down. Because I'm telling you, writing down where you're trying to go, what you're thinking is powerful. When you write down house, and then you write down the things that are challenging, maybe debt, money is usually a hang up, right? Job. And when you start looking at your tree and your drawing, you're like, I got some things I need to do, some things I need to start doing, stop doing, and change. But guess what? Now you got a plan. Now you got your goal, right? Let's go, baby. We can achieve absolutely anything. You're talking to Kerry B, who at 5 years old, I'm not supposed to be here, y'all. I'm supposed to be either dead, hooking on the streets, a drug addict. That's what the world told me. But I'm here to tell you that I have a successful 25-year plus career with a major airline. I did graduate college. I have 2 successful kids, and I have amazing friends that surround me and remind me every day that I make a difference. Go find those people and surround yourself with that. And if you can't find them people, then start talking to yourself, start talking to your journal, start speaking life into your life. Start telling yourself what they call affirmation. Start telling yourself daily that you are worth it. Your dreams will come true. You can do hard things. I am somebody. I have a purpose. My story needs to be shared to give someone else hope. That's all you got to do is tell yourself that every day. And you'll start believing it. Because see, you've got beliefs in your head that you're not. You've got beliefs in your head that you can't. And I'm telling you, you can, but you got to start telling yourself you can. You got to start surrounding yourself with people who you can trust that'll tell you, don't give up. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. You can cry. You can scream. You can kick, but don't give up, because it's possible. I'm telling you, it is possible. You can make 6 figures. That's me. And have a side hustle. Okay. You can break barriers. You can get people to realize that people that maybe they never would mingle with before, they can, because guess what? They're nice people too, Let people see who you are. Let people see your heart. Let people see who you are. What you got? I can go on. I love pouring into people, and I love reminding people that they are worthy, and that the only person stopping you genuinely is you. Genuinely is you. Be inspired, but don't be stifled. Let Melissa's story inspire you. Let Carrie's story inspire you, but don't ever let it make you feel less than, ever. Because you have something to bring to the table every single day. You might be crafty. You might be a good saver. You have something to bring to the table. What is that? What's that one thing that people tell you all the time? And then build on that, right?
So that'll segue me into one of my favorite questions in these interviews. And it is, I want you to tell me all the things that Kerry B loves. Just throw them at me. What are all the things Kerry B loves?
Well, the number one thing I love is Stevie.
TV?
That's my husband. Stevie. Yes.
I thought you said TV, television.
Yes. I absolutely love being in love with my husband and the way he loves me, and he supports me in everything I do. I love traveling. I love building others up. Particularly women. I play the violin, and I haven't played in years, but I would love to start that again. Yes, I've played since I was 5 years old, actually. Um, I love the water, anything water, snorkeling, kayaking, just, I'm a fish. Throw me out there and I'm gonna have fun. And you know what I love? I love that I get to be used by God to inspire other women. And that's my thing. I love loving, and I love to make sure everyone feels worthy. I can keep going, but
What's your favorite food?
chocolate with nuts.
How often do you reward yourself with your favorite thing?
Every day. Like, so one of the things I'm gonna show you, I have a bag here, and I keep my little reward pocket. I'm serious. Look at this. So
I love it.
I don't go into it. Like, I try not to go into it, but everybody around me knows that if you bring her a little piece of chocolate with nuts, she's happy. So seriously, if you put a steak in, I would take the chocolate.
And I would take the steak. So we are perfect. That is perfect. But it's important that you're able to rattle off things that you love. And a lot of times women haven't been asked that.
Yes.
Haven't reflected on that. They've lost a lot of their identity in who they have become as a spouse and a mother and as a business owner, and all of the demands that life and society make on us. I've heard it so many times that I don't know what I love anymore because I've lost a piece of me.
Yes.
Even a little bit, but you recognize it. I used to play the violin. I wish I played more.
Yeah.
Making time for those things that we say hit our love list.
Yes.
Because all of those things that we love make up who we are, and they make us an even better gift to give others.
Yeah. Yes.
We are all different. We are all different. And it's refreshing to surround yourself with somebody whose story is different than yours,
Yes.
and whose journey is different than yours. And a lot of times I think we actually get stuck surrounding ourselves with people that are too much like ourselves, too much like us,
right,
or completely the wrong fit for us. They are stifling our growth. They are not helping us grow or blossom into the next best thing for us. And so I love that you are able to freely share what you love, because I think it's important that we know what we love so that we can share that, and that becomes a part of ourselves.
Yes.
And we can bring that to the table as another way to connect with other humans. You know,
love it.
What is the greatest compliment that you've been paid?
Well, heck, you started off with when you asked the question. I think the greatest compliment, in even summing all that up, is the fact that people trust me to come to me. Like I said, I work in a major company, huge, probably 8,000 people in this building. And Melissa, not a week goes by where someone doesn't trust me enough to ask me to go into a room and pray with them or talk to them through a challenge in their life. So I think the greatest compliment I've been paid is that people trust me. And, you know, some of these people I've known for years, and some of them I've just met, and it's just there. And it's that feeling. I guess we get, yeah.
You are a feeling.
You
are a feeling. And now I think that anybody, all of you that have watched or tuned in.
There's people on here?
No, but there will be when they watch the recording. They will be.
I'm so goofy.
But they'll see what we mean. You're a feeling. You bring this aura of contagious enthusiasm, of growth mindset, of childlike wonder, even, and belief. And I think that is so powerful when we can show that we believe in others even more than they believe in themselves yet.
Yes.
and that it's important to, and I'm kind of summing up some of the really important things that you said, but it's important to surround yourself with the right people and to be able to recognize when you are surrounding yourself with the wrong people.
Yes, right. Amen.
Because you deserve more. You don't deserve to be treated like less than by your spouse, by your family, by your friends group.
Amen. That is so true. Sorry, go ahead, but yes.
No. Go ahead.
And say that right there, that recognition, recognizing that, because that's a good place to start too, is I believe that who you surround yourself with is who you become. And if you're not, when you're looking at yourself right now and you're saying, I don't like where I am or what I'm becoming, then look who's around you. And you don't have to just don't talk to them anymore, but maybe you don't interact with them the same way, right? Maybe you don't, go hang out as much or in the same way. Maybe you set the tone. Let's go to the park instead of the bar or whatever, just change. You can have subtle changes. So many times we're all or nothing. And maybe that's where I was going earlier, is that we need to stop being all or nothing, because you can start at point A. And if you don't get to B and you don't make it, that's all or nothing. But if you can start at point A and you can see you're not making it to B, you can start tweaking and start changing and retrying and doing things to get you to B. And that's when you're growing. Recognize the change in yourself. Recognize that there's change needed, right? And then just keep moving forward. I learned a long time ago, if you're moving forward, then you are successful. It's when we become stagnant and we start letting society and others, supposedly loved ones, tell us what we are and what we're not, is when we become stagnant. So use work mindset, keep the growth mindset going. Go ahead.
And wouldn't you say, if you don't like something, then it is up to you to recognize and change it?
Yes, I would agree. Yes. Recognize.
You have to. If you don't like something, it's up to you to change it.
And I would add this. Also, if someone tells you something more than 3 times, you need to stop. Like, if someone tells you that, you quit all the time. Somebody say, you quit all the time. You quit all the time. Then you really need to stop and say, why do I quit all the time? Because that's the other thing. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to analyze it, because that truth is bubbling out. But we need to do that. If someone is telling you something over and over again, don't get mad. That's when you pull that journal out and you write it down and you say, when is the last time I remember that? Oh man, that was just a few seconds ago, or whatever. And just, start recognizing what needs to be changed, right?
Or your kids say, you're always working. Or your parents say, you don't make time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or and those are top of mind, because those are things that are said to me.
Yeah.
And so those are top of mind, but we have to take those not as a criticism, but as a building block.
That's it. Yep.
As a building block to recognize and pivot.
Yes. And maybe sometimes it means pull them in. So maybe you don't spend enough time with me. How can I still do my life and bring them along? Maybe that means they come over a couple hours and help you stuff envelopes or whatever, or you have lunch while you do whatever. The thing of it is, it's not all or nothing. It's how can I make it happen and still meet the things that I set out to do that day? Or is it a time where you just, the truth is that you really do just need to take time for yourself and your loved ones, the people who supported you along the way. And guess what? The work is going to still be there. See, I have this thing called long nighters. So working 9 to 5 at a corporation and then building my dream at night. See, the other big word, I don't know if we really talked about as much, is sacrifice. We have to be willing to sacrifice some personal time, because many of us, we can talk about the Desperate Housewives of this, the Stranded on an Island this, the Alien movie, the Squid Game. Everybody knows everything that's going out. But that same time, I choose to take that time and work my business. So for me, my office hours start at 10:30 at night, typically, and I'll work till 2 or 3 in the morning. And I only do it twice a week. I try to only do it twice a week, once a month, or twice a month. So 1 week out of the month is when I try to do that. But that's the sacrifice I have to make in order to make sure I stay up on my mailings and things like that. What are you willing to sacrifice? See, that's another thing, is that to change also means sacrifice. And a lot of us aren't willing to sacrifice.
But a lot of times people equate sacrificing as a negative thing.
Yes, they do.
Sacrificing, you can't look at sacrifice as something negative for it to be powerful.
Correct. Amen. Yes. Sacrificing is, when you look at sacrificing, you should look at it as a stepping stone to my goal. I'm sacrificing, I'm going to record all those shows, and I'm going to take that time, sacrifice that time, and instead work my business. And then when I get further along or I achieve, then I can go back and watch it. So yeah, sacrifice is not a negative thing, but in my mind, it's a necessity. It's a necessary thing in order to achieve your goals. Because think about it, there's only so many hours in a day. And if you're not willing to sacrifice something, then how are you going to fit it all in? You know, people always talking about balance. To me, there's no such thing as balance. The owner of our company, Orville, he taught us that about harmony. And by me playing the violin, this spoke to me so well, because, you know, there's different sections of an orchestra, right? You got your stringed instruments, you may have your band, you may have your xylophones and all that stuff. They all have a part. Even within the string session, you have string 1, string 2, string 3, the violas, the cellos, and they all have a part. So maybe you don't have to do laundry every day, but you do laundry on Tuesdays. So if you have a set harmony, and you know when things, what role they play and when their role and their time, it's out of your mind. But if you're trying to balance it all and do it all at the same time, you're constantly, it's on your mind, and you feel stressed and you feel weighed down. But if you know every Tuesday is laundry day, every Friday is floor day, every Thursday is mail day, it clears your mind. It clears your mind. The laundry knows its role, it knows its day. The family knows when to have their laundry in the room, so you can do it. It knows its day, and it clears your mind. So strive for harmony and not balance, because balance, think of that lady trying to juggle the dishes and the baby and the diapers and the car. And you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that everything has a day, a time, and a place, and you have peace and harmony. And you can walk around and smile and sing songs and things, because you're not all stressed out about thinking, how am I going to cook dinner? And guess what, you guys, it's okay to let the kids cook some nights, or the hubby, or just eat sandwiches. You don't have to kill yourself. So just saying. Harmony.
I have to write that down. That is something that is so, I love that, and take it as a compliment that I'm pausing for a second just to write that.
I think that that's a key that we also lose. We think we have to do it all, and everything should have a place. It's just like in your workspace. Everything should have a place. So when it gets chaotic, you can put it back together real swiftly, right? So harmony.
So I don't want to, obviously we could sit here and talk and
I
try to solve,
know.
we could try to solve as many of the world's problems and problems in our eyes, but leave us with something. You can say anything.
Anything.
You have inspired us, so I won't say leave us with some inspiration. You have done that. So leave us with anything.
I will leave you with this, that if you just can't find your wherewithal and you just don't know where to start, then find someone that can inspire you in words. And so Les Brown is that person for me. And he always says that we're gonna fall, right? We're gonna trip. We know that the journey we're on is gonna have obstacles. So draw on all your skills and your talents, and know they're coming, those obstacles and challenges, and keep pushing through. See, the ideal isn't to give up. The ideal isn't to quit. It's to know that you were born with everything you need to make it. Stop judging yourself, stop comparing yourself, and start believing that it's possible for you. And remember, when you show up, when you share, you gave someone else hope. This life is a journey, and have the best people around you when you're on this journey, and you'll succeed. Don't forget to smell the roses along the way. Don't forget about those bricks. Break it down, baby. Break it down.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. What a way to take us out. I appreciate you so much.
I love you. And thank you.
Well, and I I am so happy that I could bring the gift that is you to others that haven't had an opportunity to be impacted by you.
Amen.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.